My friend, let me ask you this. When was the last time you truly rested? Not just your body, but your soul. We are running, striving, pushing day in, day out. The world is louder than ever, and peace feels like a forgotten dream. But I'm here to tell you today, with fire in my bones, that the key to gaining everything you're chasing might just be to stop chasing it. Yes, I said it. Relax. Because it is in the stillness, in the quiet surrender, that the deepest treasures of life are found. Relaxing doesn't mean you've given up. It means you've given over. It's not a sign of weakness, but a declaration of faith. When you relax, you're saying, I trust the process. I trust that I don't have to carry the weight of the world on my shoulders. So many people have confused exhaustion with purpose. But friend, burning out is not a badge of honor. Wisdom says, rest. Wisdom says, let go. And when you let go, you begin to see more clearly than ever before. Your body was never meant to carry the tension we place on it day after day. Stress twists the mind, clouds the heart, and weakens the body. But peace restores. When the mind quiets down, the body follows. Healing begins. Life becomes lighter. You find that the energy you were searching for doesn't come from doing more. It comes from being more present. In the stillness, you return to yourself and to the life that's been waiting for you all along. There's a reason why the great insights often come not in chaos, but in quiet. Some of your biggest breakthroughs won't come from pushing harder. They'll come from pausing longer. We are often running so fast that we outrun the very answers we've been searching for. But when you slow down, when you breathe, when you stop striving for just a moment, you give space for those answers to arrive. Stillness is not empty. It is full of guidance. You cannot receive with clenched fists. You cannot embrace with a tight jaw and furrowed brow. Relaxing is not about laziness. It is about positioning. It is about opening your hands so that you can receive the things life has been trying to give you. You cannot control every outcome. You cannot force every door open. But when you rest, you allow life to unfold. You begin to witness the beauty of divine timing. And that, my friend, is where true power lies. We've been taught to glorify hustle, to celebrate constant motion. But life doesn't reward chaos. It rewards alignment. The peaceful person, the one who walks in trust and calm, that carries a strength the world can't comprehend. Peace is not passive. It is powerful. It's a force that silences storms, calms battles, and carries you through the darkest valleys. And it is available to you, not after the next deadline, but here and now, if you will only be still. The hurt they've caused, and let me remind you, in case the noise of the world has made you forget, you are not alone. You have never been alone. There is a strength that holds you, a presence that goes before you, a grace that lifts you. When you relax, you begin to feel it again. Hurt they've caused, you begin to hear the whisper that says, I've got you. You're not forgotten. You don't have to do this all by yourself. And that kind of peace, the peace that passes all understanding, that is where your true success begins. So I challenge you today, right here now, to stop the striving, even if just for a moment. Breathe. Loosen your grip. Let life catch up with you. Let grace find you. Because when you relax, when you rest in faith and let go of fear, you don't lose momentum, you gain it. The life you're longing for isn't waiting at the end of a race. It's been waiting inside the stillness all along. Will you dare to slow down long enough to receive it? When your mind is at peace, your body responds in kind. The two are deeply connected, more than we often acknowledge. Many of the aches we carry in our backs, the tightness in our chest, the fatigue in our bones, those aren't just physical symptoms. They are messages, signals from within, trying to tell us that something in our inner world is unsettled. You see, the body follows the mind. And when the mind is anxious, afraid, or hurt they've caused, or overwhelmed, the body wears that burden too. Stress is a thief. It sneaks in quietly at first, convincing you that it's necessary, that if you just carry a little more, if you just stay up a little later, if you just do a little more, everything will be fine. But the longer it stays, the more it steals. It takes your energy. It clouds your thinking. It makes you forget who you are and what truly matters. Stress doesn't just affect your day. It affects your life. Over time, it drains the very joy out of living. But there is a better way. Rest is not a reward for finishing the race. It is the strength that allows you to run well. When you rest, when you let your mind slow down, when you give your soul a moment to breathe, your body begins to heal. You might not notice it right away, but something begins to shift. Your shoulders loosen. Your heart beats a little softer. Your breath returns to its natural rhythm. Rest is not doing nothing. It is doing the most important thing you can do. Taking care of the inner life that sustains all the rest. We have been taught to treat rest as a luxury, something you earn only after proving your worth through toil. But that is a lie. Rest is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Your mind was not designed to be under constant pressure. Your body was not created to move without pause. When you give yourself permission to rest, you're not falling behind. You're moving forward with more clarity and strength than before. Rest restores. Rest renews the hurt they've caused. It rebuilds you from the inside out. You were not created to live in a constant state of survival. You were not meant to simply get through the day. You were made to live fully, to move with purpose, to give from a place of fullness, not emptiness. And the only way to return to that place is by allowing rest to do its sacred work. Don't wait for a breakdown to remind you of what's essential. Choose rest now. Choose stillness. It may feel unfamiliar at first, but that's only because we've forgotten how natural it truly is. When the mind begins to find peace, even just a little, everything begins to change. Decisions become easier. Emotions become clearer. The noise that once filled your head with confusion starts to quiet. That silence is not emptiness. It is the sound of healing. It is the space where wisdom enters. So many of life's answers are already inside you, but they've been drowned out by the constant hum of business. In rest, you begin to hear them again. There's no shame in needing rest. There is no weakness in stepping back. It takes courage to pause when the world around you demands movement. It takes strength to be still when everything inside you is used to rushing. But when you do, you begin to reconnect to your breath, to your body, to your purpose. And in that reconnection, you find that your best self was never lost. It was only waiting for you to slow down and return. So give yourself this gift, not just once, but regularly. Let your mind find peace so your body can follow. Let go of the stress that has worn you thin and allow space for restoration. You don't have to live exhausted. You don't have to carry it all. There is a way of living that is lighter, fuller, and more whole. And it begins with rest. It begins with the simple, powerful decision to say, I will take care of me. Mind, body, and soul. That is where healing begins. That is where everything changes. There is a kind of strength that does not come from action, but from stillness. In a world that praises speed and constant motion, this may sound like a contradiction, but it's true. Some of the most important movements in life begin not with a leap forward, but with a pause. When you allow yourself to be still, truly still, you make space for something deeper to rise. Not everything can be solved by doing more. Sometimes what you need most is to do less, to slow down, to sit in the silence and just listen. Stillness is not emptiness. It is not absence or inaction. It is presence. It is the place where awareness lives. When the noise of the world dies down and you are no longer trying to keep up or catch up, something remarkable happens. You begin to hear your own soul again. You begin to reconnect with your inner voice, the one that often gets drowned out by the demands and distractions of daily life. In that space, you don't just rest, you remember who you are. Guidance doesn't always shout, it often whispers. And if your life is filled with noise, you may never hear it. But in the still moments, in the quiet that comes after the world has been turned off for a while, wisdom begins to speak. It rises slowly, gently, like a dawn breaking over your thoughts. You don't always need a new plan or a new opportunity or a big breakthrough. Sometimes all you need is to become quiet enough to receive what's already trying to reach you. There are answers you've been seeking. There are directions you've been praying for. But they won't always come in the middle of the chaos. They arrive in peace. They show up when you're no longer trying to force life into place, but when you sit long enough to let life reveal what's already unfolding. Stillness doesn't make you fall behind. It brings you back to alignment. It positions you to move forward with clarity rather than confusion. So many people live on autopilot, rushing from task to task, reacting to life instead of responding to it. But stillness interrupts that cycle. It wakes you up, it breaks the pattern, it reminds you that life is not meant to be a blur of busy moments, but a sacred journey of awareness, connection, and meaning. You don't need to run harder, you need to be more awake. And awareness grows not in movement, but in stillness. When you practice stillness, you start noticing what you used to miss. You see beauty in the simple things. You feel gratitude returning to your heart. You hear the truth that's been knocking at your door all along. And slowly, almost without trying, you begin to make wiser decisions. You begin to choose peace over panic, intention over impulse, depth over distraction. That is the quiet power of stillness. The world will keep trying to convince you that motion equals progress. But some of the most powerful changes in your life will come when you sit still long enough to truly see. There is strength in waiting. There is clarity in pausing. There is vision in silence. Stillness isn't just a break, it's a spiritual tool. It sharpens your perception and strengthens your inner life in a way no external activity ever could. So let the world rush around you if it must. But you take time to be still. Make space for the quiet. Don't be afraid of silence. Within it lies the wisdom you've been chasing, the direction you've been missing, and the peace your soul has been longing for. Stillness isn't weakness, it's your secret weapon. Use it and watch your life transform from the inside out. So many people go through life holding on so tightly. They grip their plans, their expectations, their fears, believing that if they just hold on a little longer, if they just stay in control, everything will work out. But what they don't realize is that clenched fists can't receive anything new. Holding on too tightly doesn't guarantee success. It often blocks the very things we're hoping for. We think control equals safety, but often it creates more tension than peace. Letting go is one of the hardest things a person can do, especially in a world that glorifies control and self-determination. We are told from a young age that we must take charge, stay on top of things, keep everything in order. But there comes a point when all the effort begins to backfire. What once felt like strength becomes a burden. What once felt like focus becomes fear. And fear, when it takes root, closes us off from the flow of life. Relaxing doesn't just calm the body. It softens the heart. It signals a quiet trust that says, I don't need to control everything to be okay. That kind of trust creates space. And in that space, something new can enter. It could be clarity. It could be peace. It could be an opportunity you never expected. But none of it can come if your hands and your heart are too full of what you're trying to manage or protect. There's a great relief that comes when you finally release something you've been holding too tightly. It could be a dream that didn't happen the way you wanted. It could be a relationship that no longer serves you. It could even be a version of yourself that you've outgrown. Whatever it is, letting go is not about loss. It's about trust. Trust that by loosening your grip, you make room for something better to take its place. Often, the things we're clinging to are rooted in fear. We fear that if we stop trying, we'll be forgotten. We fear that if we let go, we'll fall behind. But fear is a poor guide and a terrible builder of anything lasting. When you start to trust life again, when you start to believe that good things can still come to you, even if you're not in total control, something begins to shift. What you release in fear, you reclaim in faith. People often say, I just can't let go. But letting go is not a single moment, it's a process. It's a daily choice to release, to breathe, to surrender. And every time you do, you grow stronger, not weaker. You begin to realize that life isn't about holding everything together. It's about letting life unfold and learning how to respond with grace, not resistance. When your hands are open, you are ready. Ready to receive peace, ready to receive change, ready to receive the unexpected blessings that come when you stop trying to force everything into place. It's not that you stop caring. It's that you stop controlling. And in doing so, you begin to live with more ease, more joy, more alignment with the rhythm of life itself. So if you find yourself tired, tense, and holding on too tightly, ask yourself what you're afraid to release. Then gently, slowly, begin to let go. It doesn't have to happen all at once. Just begin. Open your hands. Loosen your grip. Make space. Because the life that's waiting for you, the peace, the freedom, the abundance, it can't be forced in. It must be welcomed. And it begins when you let go. There comes a time when you begin to realize that no amount of effort can control every outcome. No matter how organized, prepared, or determined you are, life still finds a way to surprise you. And in those moments of uncertainty, when the plans unravel, when the future feels unclear, when you feel the limits of your own strength, there's a quiet truth waiting to be remembered. You are not alone. You never were, and you never have to be. So often we carry life like it all depends on us. We try to hold everything together, our families, our work, our health, our dreams, as if we're the only ones holding the threads. But that kind of weight isn't sustainable. It drains the joy from our journey and turns peace into pressure. When you begin to relax, even slightly, you can start to feel what's always been true. There is a strength beneath your strength. There is something or someone carrying you through. There is a grace that moves before you, even when you don't notice it. A guidance that whispers through intuition, through quiet moments, through people who show up just when you need them. Life may not always go the way you imagined, but you've never been left without what you truly need. The comfort, the insight, the encouragement, it has a way of arriving when you surrender, when you let go of your frantic effort to figure it all out alone. Relaxing doesn't just give your body rest, it opens your heart to connection. When you stop fighting, you begin to feel supported. You start to see that help is closer than you realized. Sometimes it comes in the form of a friend, sometimes in a word of encouragement or a moment of stillness that brings unexpected clarity. But it always comes. Because life was never meant to be walked in isolation. It was meant to be shared, supported, and sustained together. Even in your loneliest moments, when it feels like no one understands your struggle, there is still a presence that surrounds you. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. The path may be unfamiliar, but you are not walking it alone. Life meets you where you are, especially in the quiet, especially when you finally stop and breathe. especially when you admit you don't have to carry it all by yourself. The more you relax, the more you begin to see these subtle reminders. A little unexpected peace, a gentle shift in circumstances, the right words at the right time. These are not accidents. They are signs that you are supported, that there's something working with you, not against you. When you're always rushing, you miss these moments. But when you slow down, you begin to notice them everywhere. You don't need to have all the answers today. You don't need to see the whole picture. You just need to know that you are not alone in facing what's ahead, that even now, even in your waiting, something is unfolding on your behalf. When you trust this truth, when you begin to rest in it, your fear loses its grip. Your steps become lighter. You begin to move with the assurance that you are carried by more than your own strength. So let yourself relax, not just for the sake of comfort, but for the sake of remembrance. Let the stillness remind you of what's been true all along. You are guided. You are held. You are never, not for a single moment, on this journey by yourself. And the more you allow that truth to settle into your heart, the more peace you'll find, not because life becomes easy, but because you'll finally remember you're never facing it alone. Many people believe that success is about control, that if they just work hard enough, plan carefully enough, and hold tightly enough to their goals, they will achieve everything they desire. This idea is deeply ingrained in our culture, pushing us to keep striving and pushing without pause. But real success doesn't come from controlling every detail. It comes from knowing when to release, when to let go of the illusion that you are the one who must hold everything together. Surrender is often misunderstood as weakness or giving up. But surrender is actually one of the greatest acts of strength a person can make. It takes courage to admit that you don't have all the answers, that some things are beyond your control. Surrender is not about quitting. It's about choosing to stop fighting against the natural flow of life and instead moving with it. In that choice lies true power. Relaxation is a form of surrender. When you allow yourself to relax, you are saying yes to peace over pressure. You are making space for grace to enter. Relaxation doesn't mean laziness or apathy. It means trusting that you can rest without everything falling apart. It means having confidence that by letting go of anxiety and tension, you open yourself to a deeper kind of success, one that is sustainable and fulfilling. The most successful people you admire are often those who have learned this lesson well. They understand that their greatest achievements didn't come from forcing every outcome, but from knowing when to step back and trust the process. They release their grip on control, allowing creativity, wisdom, and opportunity to flow in. This surrender doesn't make them passive, it makes them responsive and resilient. When you surrender, you also surrender fear. Fear tries to convince you that if you don't hold tight, you will lose everything. But fear is a liar. Letting go of control doesn't mean losing your dreams. It means opening your hands to receive new possibilities. Sometimes what you think you must control is actually blocking what you really need. Surrender invites a fresh perspective and new solutions that never appeared while you were holding on too tightly. Surrender allows you to rest in the assurance that you are not alone in your journey. Whether you call it faith, trust, or simply wisdom, there is a guiding presence that supports you when you let go of the need to control everything. This presence works behind the scenes, orchestrating circumstances in ways you cannot always see or understand. When you relax and surrender, you align yourself with this greater flow. True success is not measured only by accomplishments, but by the peace that accompanies them. When you surrender, you find a quiet confidence that no external victory can give. You become steady in the storms, patient in the waiting, and joyful in the process. This inner strength is the foundation on which lasting success is built. It is the strength of a soul that has learned to trust rather than control. So begin by practicing surrender today. Notice where you are holding on too tightly. Invite yourself to relax into the unknown. Trust that by releasing your grip, you are making space for something greater to come. Real success begins not with control, but with surrender. And in surrender, you will find a power deeper than any effort alone could ever create. So I challenge you today, right here, right now, to stop the striving, even if just for a moment. Breathe. Loosen your grip. Let life catch up with you. Let grace find you. Because when you relax, when you rest in faith and let go of fear, you don't lose momentum, you gain it. The life you're longing for isn't waiting at the end of a race. It's been waiting inside the stillness all along. Will you dare to slow down long enough to receive it?